Earlier today, a vote was taken in the United States Senate that to this senator marked about the lowest point that I think this Senate has descended into in my 30 years here. We sent a message: we have a double standard, a terrible double standard.
Iowa Senator Tom Harkin responding to what I called a shameful, despicable day in the U.S. Senate yesterday when the entire Republican caucus, joined by 7 Democrats, those 7 there, voted down the president's nominee to head up the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division, Debo Adigbile, over an appellate brief for a man convicted of murdering a police officer. Now, if you haven't been watching Fox News or reading conservative media, this all came out of nowhere. Odds are you had no idea who Debo Adigbile was until yesterday. But let me tell you something. Fox viewers sure did. Because for the last month, they've been beating the drum on the scary, scary black man that Debo Adigbile's organization once represented.
Coming up, he defended a cop killer.
An international crusade to free a cop killer.
A non-repentant cop killer.
Voluntarily defending a convicted cop killer.
An unrepentant cop killer.
One of the most storied cop killers in American history.
In fact, if you've been watching Fox News with the sound turned off, you may have even thought Debo Adigbile was in fact Mumia Abu-Jamal, that man you see there, because so often when they talked about Adigbile, they put Mumia Abu-Jamal's image on the screen. And that was not an accident. They knew what they were doing. The question is why? Why? Why did the entire right-wing noise machine go to war over this nominee? From Fox News to Pajamas Media to Breitbart to Senate Republicans, why did they all go at this guy so hard? Well, as we try to answer that question, let's consider what Debo Adigbile would have done if he had been confirmed. He would have headed up the DOJ's Civil Rights Division, meaning he would have overseen the implementation of a law called the Voting Rights Act. That's the same piece of legislation he himself twice defended in oral arguments before the Supreme Court. The same piece of legislation the conservative legal movement has been waging a successful war against for years. When the Supreme Court gutted Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act last summer, they revoked the Justice Department's power to automatically review for preclearance any voting changes in states with histories of discrimination. But the Justice Department has another tool under the Voting Rights Act. They don't automatically get preclearance power anymore, but under Section 2 of the law, DOJ can request preclearance in specific states or jurisdictions by suing them. And the decision of which states or jurisdictions to sue, well, that would come from, you guessed it, the DOJ's Civil Rights Division, the one that Adigbile was nominated to head up. And clearly, that fact was on the minds of some Republicans. At least 3 GOP senators submitted written questions to Adigbile asking specifically how he would use his Section 2 power or how he'd decide which states' voter ID laws to fight. Since the Supreme Court gutted Section 5 of the VRA, according to the Brenner Center, 5 states that used to be covered under preclearance are moving forward with laws that have been on hold or have passed new laws that restrict voting. And those laws restricting voting, that's what Republicans appear to be trying to protect. Mumia Abu-Jamal was just a way to sell it. Joining me now is Benjamin Jealous, a partner at the Kapor Center for Social Impact and former president and CEO of the NAACP. And Ben, where do you start on this case? I find myself even angrier today than I was yesterday about the raw injustice of this, but I really do think this is not just about the Voting Rights Act. This is part of a right-wing attack on the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ going back 20 years into the Clinton administration.
Oh, no, that's exactly right. In fact, and it really goes back. It really goes back further. I mean, you know, Reagan, Bush have all tried to dismantle and weaken this particular part of the DOJ. Every time that the Republicans have been in power, when the Dems are in power, they tried to weaken it as well. You know, let's be first clear on who Debo is. Debo is the Thurgood Marshall of our generation. He is simply the best black civil rights lawyer in the country, and maybe the best civil rights lawyer in the country, period. He is a man who has defended the Voting Rights Act twice, and he hails from the NAACP LDF, which is the firm that, if you will, could be, if any firm could be credited with writing the VRA, it is them. And the only time that we've seen this sort of spurless, shameful attack before is the last time that an NAACP LDF voting rights lawyer, in that case one named Lonnie Guinier, was up to head up the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ.
That's right.
You know, and so we should know this game, and we should not allow ourselves to be, swayed by their BS rhetoric. Because, quite frankly, by their standards, John Adams would not have become president. John Adams defended the British Redcoats in the Boston Massacre.
Oh, I got an even here, more recent precedent here. Here is none other than Senator Orrin Hatch, Republican of Utah, who voted against Debo Adigbele yesterday. Here's him defending Justice Souter's nomination. Justice Souter, at the time, before being nominated to the Supreme Court, during his hearings, being attacked for legal briefs he wrote. Listen to Orrin Hatch's spirited defense on behalf of Justice Souter.
If we're going to start using a nominee's briefs against him in the confirmation process, we're going to be setting a shocking precedent. It would be a very, very dangerous message to send to lawyers if you have any ambition to be a judge. You lawyers don't represent controversial clients, and be careful about what you say on behalf of a client, because you might be held responsible for the fact that the law was as it was at the time you made the statement.
And here's the kicker on this to me, and the thing I think has been underappreciated. The appeal filed by the Legal Defense Fund when Debo Adigbele was there said that the jury instructions in the case of the trial of Mumia Abu-Jamal were unconstitutional. The court agreed. The court said, yes, they were unconstitutional. They made the right argument.
And those judges were Republican appointees.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, that's the shameful thing here. And look, you know, we in this country believe that constitutional rights should be defended not because of the person whose rights has been, impacted or hurt or taken away or denied, but because they are rights. And we all need to have access to them. I have a cousin who defended a Ku Klux Klansman's rights as a black civil rights lawyer. You know, we didn't defend him because we believe in the Ku Klux Klan. My cousin didn't defend him because he believes in the Ku Klux Klan. He defended him because he believes in the U.S. Constitution.
Finally,
and the reality is that these 7 Democrats don't deserve to be in office. Let's be really clear.
Yes.
They should be grateful to the NAACP LDF. They should be grateful to the civil rights movement because, quite frankly, they wouldn't have a base without us. And when you see people like Mary Landrieu stand up and vote, she needs to be praised. But,
Mary Landrieu and Kay Hagan, both Southern senators in this cycle, up now in competitive races, voted for Debo Adigbele. Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota, not in cycle right now, not only voted against him, but sent out a fundraising letter about the attack on voting rights the same day. Ben Jealous.
No, but Coons and Casey, shameful. Absolutely
Ben
shameful.
Jealous from the Cape Horse Center. Thanks so much for your time, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. Coming up, day 2 of this.
We're adjourned. Close it down. Thank you.
I am a member of the Congress of the United States of America. I am tired of this.
Now, House Democrats are calling for a response to what Congressman Darrell Issa did yesterday, and it's a big deal. I will explain next.